Let's transition and let's go to the wise guys question of the day. It's been talked about for the last week or so. Who is the best point guard of all time? Steph Curry believes that he is the best point guard ever. This what Steph Curry said on the Gilbert Arenas podcast, that he believes that he is the greatest NBA point guard of all time. And so this has been a debate over the last week and a half. And so the wise guys question of the day was, who is the greatest point guard of all time? Is it Steph? Is it Magic? Or is it someone else? Give me your vote on the live stream. Let me know who you believe is the greatest NBA point guard of all time. So when it comes to who is the greatest point guard of all time, first and foremost, I want to give Steph Curry and Magic Johnson both their flowers because they both are the best at a specific element of the game of all time, period. Magic Johnson is the greatest passer in NBA history. The way that Magic Johnson was able to make plays and his playmaking ability is something that we have never, ever seen. And I'm not so sure we're ever going to be able to see it moving forward. Magic Johnson is the greatest passer in NBA history. For his career, Magic Johnson, he averaged 7 assists per game. Magic Johnson was a tremendous passer of the basketball. Some people feel like LeBron is also a great passer. I think LeBron's a great passer, but I believe Magic Johnson is an even better passer than LeBron is. So I would say LeBron James is second when it comes to passing the basketball. When it comes to all-time greats, I got to put Magic over LeBron. Magic Johnson was a tremendous passer of the basketball. And your number one job as a point guard is to pass the basketball. Put your teammates in positions to be successful and score the basketball at a high level. And Magic Johnson did that better than anyone else in NBA history. But although Magic Johnson is the greatest passer in NBA history, the greatest shooter in NBA history is none other than Steph Curry. He is the greatest shooter that God has ever created. Steph Curry, for his career, he averages and shoots 43% from three-point range. 43% from three-point range. This is Steph Curry that we're talking about. This is what he averages. There are some players in NBA history who has never shot 43% from three-point range at one time in their career. They never shot 43% from three, not one season. Steph Curry shoots 43% from three-point range for his career. He is the greatest shooter in NBA history. His movement without the basketball is like none other. Like none other. Steph Curry, his ability to move without the basketball and be able to hit perimeter shots changed the game of basketball. Because you have to extend your defense when you're going up against Steph. You have to meet Steph at half court because Steph Curry can pull up from 30, and as soon as he crosses half court, he's a threat. So his impact is like none other. So I want to give Steph and Magic both their flowers and credit for being the greatest of all time in a specific element of the game. Magic with his passing and Steph with his shooting. Now, when it comes to Steph and Magic overall, Steph played 14 seasons in the NBA. Magic played 13 seasons. Now, Magic has the advantage over Steph in some major categories. Magic has 5 more first team All-NBA selections than Steph. Magic has finished top 3 in the MVP voting 6 more times than Steph. Magic has 1 more MVP than Steph has. Magic has 3 more finals appearances on his resume than Steph has, and Magic has one more NBA championship than Steph. Steph got 4, Magic got 5. Magic has 3 NBA Finals MVPs. Steph has 1 NBA Finals MVP. And it's crazy because Kevin Durant went to Golden State, and the 2 years where Steph could have won Finals MVP, when the Warriors were in the finals, Kevin Durant took home the NBA Finals MVP honors those seasons. So when you look at those career comparisons and those accolades, Magic has the advantage over Steph. But I think this is a conversation for a preference. I don't think nobody's wrong when it comes to who you select as your greatest point guard in NBA history. If you're 35 and younger, you may say Steph. If you're 35 or older, you may say Magic. But for me, and my preference, I am choosing Steph Curry as the greatest point guard in NBA history. With all due respect to the great, and I do mean great, Magic Johnson, I believe that Steph Curry is the greatest point guard in NBA history, and I prefer the scoring over the playmaking ability. That's just me. That's what I prefer. Because I believe that with his shooting ability, Steph Curry is in a league of his own. But I also have other reasons why I believe that Steph is the greatest point guard of all time. When I look at Magic and Steph's careers, I feel like the Lakers were the Lakers even before Magic got to LA. And I look at the teams that they played with, right? Magic had an opportunity to play with James Worthy and Kareem, 2 players who were top 5 draft picks. Steph Curry played with Klay Thompson and Draymond Green. And Draymond Green, although he's going to the Hall of Fame, he's going to the Hall of Fame because he was on a winning franchise and on a winning team and won multiple championships. Draymond Green is not going to the Hall of Fame because of his individual talent. Now, Draymond Green is a key contributor, and the Warriors do not become a dynasty without Draymond Green. But Draymond Green is not, from a talent perspective, on the same level as other NBA Hall of Fame players. And Klay Thompson was not a top 5 draft pick. Klay Thompson got better once he got into the NBA and he became a sharpshooter. But Klay Thompson wasn't selected in the top 5 of the NBA draft the same way James Worthy and Kareem were selected. So I believe that Magic Johnson had more talent around him than what Steph had around him. Now, Steph Curry did get an opportunity to play with Kevin Durant for a few years, but to me, Kevin Durant is the other star or Hall of Fame player that he got a chance to play with. Like, you look at Magic and his teammates. He played with Kareem. He played with James Worthy. Steph, his Hall of Fame teammate would be Kevin Durant, number 1. To me, Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, they're probably going to make the Hall of Fame, but they're not, from a talent perspective, on the same level as a James Worthy and a Magic Johnson. Also, I look at, another thing, impact. It's easier to beat Steph Curry than it is to beat Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson was 6'9". And Steph Curry is smaller, but Steph Curry is a shooter. And he's not athletic. He's not, like, when you look at Steph Curry is not the most athletic point guard. That would be Russell Westbrook. That would also be Derrick Rose. Steph Curry is not an athlete the way that Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook is. He's more of a shooter. And I believe that if you are a young player in high school or in college, it's easier to be a Steph Curry than it is to be a Magic Johnson, because you can't teach 6'9", but you can get better as the time goes along and become a great shooter. Steph Curry worked at his craft. And remember, when Steph first came into the NBA, Steph Curry wasn't a great player. Steph Curry, in his first few years of his career, was not great. I remember at one point in Golden State, it was all about Monte Ellis. Steph Curry, it took some time for him to develop. But I think that his impact is significant. And I'm not downplaying Magic's impact. We know Magic, again, he ran the Showtime Lakers. Byron Scott was on those Laker teams as well with James Worthy and Kareem. And those Laker teams had a lot of pieces, and they were a talented basketball team. I think the Warriors have a lot of key contributors, and they have talent, but not on the same level as those Lakers teams. And again, I think it's easier for young players in high school and college to be Steph more so than Magic. So that I feel like that gives Steph an advantage when it comes to impact. But Magic Johnson is also an all-time great player, and he's easily a top 5 Laker of all time. And that's saying a lot because there were a lot of greats in that Lakers franchise in their overall history. Shaq, Kobe, God rest his soul, Kareem, James Worthy. The list goes on and on and on with the all-time great Lakers players. And Magic Johnson is easily a top 5 Laker of all time, maybe top 3 to be honest. Because I think Kobe Bryant is the greatest Laker of all time, but I do think Magic, you can make a legitimate argument that Magic is the second greatest Laker of all time.